After the homogeneous stage, after the transition stage comes the heterosexual stage. While growing up, I discovered that there were sometimes if I should see any girl coming my way, I feel like getting hold of her to have sex with her. There are sometimes I just withdraw into the environment I was. I would just withdraw, get into the room, and sometimes I even make prayers saying, God should please take this away from me. To me, I thought what was happening to me was it wasn't normal. Like I thought I was sinning. I thought things were not normal with me. Having the urge at its peak, having sex with the opposite sex, like with the ladies around me, like I just felt everything was just so upside down. Like so many times I fasted, I prayed, I did a lot of things that were not right, thinking things were not normal with me, but everything was normal. You want to know why? Come with me. My name is Daniel Elisha Avaka, your favorite African best sex educationist. Here is my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to it, this is your first time watching my video, I will please encourage you to smash the subscription button down and also click on the notification button so as to get notified anytime I am going to upload my next video. You know why? I've spoken about several transition stages in we human beings, for the male and for the female. I've talked about the homogeneous stage, I've talked about the transition stage, and today, in my third episode on this topic, I'm going to be talking about the final stage at this moment, which is also the heterosexual stage. This stage is the peak of your sexual desire for the opposite sex, like starting from the homogeneous stage, from the transition stage, that your attention starts shifting from the same sex attraction to the opposite sex attraction. If you are a lady, it will start shifting from making friends with ladies to making friends with guys. If you are a guy, your attention will start shifting from mingling with guys to making friends with ladies and having fun, going out and stuff like that. So today I'm going to be talking about the heterosexual stage, which is the peak of this stage. This is a stage whereby your sexual desire becomes so strong to the extent that you feel grabbing and taking hold of the next guy or girl coming your way to have sexual intercourse with. Yes, and guess what? All these things are normal. There are hormones embedded in our body by God Almighty to work in us. And if you are feeling this urge, trust me, you are a man, you are a woman. So, how should you go about all these things? Should you go praying, fasting, just as I did? Should you withdraw into the room just as I once did? Well, I will encourage you not to. Just be careful about yourself. Prayer works at this moment because, sincerely speaking, with your flesh and blood, you cannot do this. You need the help of God Almighty to help you out of this situation. So, how should you go about this? I'm going to be speaking about that intensively in this episode of the show. I will teach you how to go about this. I will teach you how to overcome this. I will teach you how to handle yourself during this period. So, number one, what should you do when you start facing this guy? Yeah, one, set boundaries. Yes, you need to set boundaries. It is good to make friends of the opposite sex. It is good to go out to mingle around, but one, set boundaries. Never be in a secluded area whereby you will be tempted to have sex with the opposite sex. As a boy, you'll be tempted to have sex with the opposite. And trust me, this is a stage whereby so many people felt, maybe most especially the ladies, they feel they were raped. But if you look at the stories at this time, they were not raped, to be precise. It is just because the guy hanging out with them, they were in a secluded area, and maybe due to hormonal change reactions in their body, he was unable to control himself, and they ended up having sex at that moment. Even the lady, if she's in the mood, she might not be able to resist at that moment. Her normal self will, she will regain her consciousness once they are done having the sex, and that is the reason why some people target rape. But to be precise, it is not necessarily called rape. Number two, be determined not to do it. Yes. Determination goes a lot. What you say to yourself, like, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I cannot do that. Let me tell you something about premarital sex. You know, a lot of people feel it is just fun and so many things, but trust me, there are so many things more to having fun. So many things attached to premarital sex than having just fun that I wouldn't want to go into that now. But trust me, there's so many things attached to that. So at this stage, you need to be careful, you need to be determined, you need to also set boundaries. And for the aspect of the parents, you need to educate your child beforehand, like since when he or she started growing. You need to encourage them, you need to tell them ahead that this is what you are going to face later in life. Like, sincerely speaking, I always make emphasis on this, that nobody ever told me that this is the stage I'm going to get into now, this is what I'm going to face now, this is what I'm going to face at this stage, like from the homogeneous stage to the transition stage to the heterosexual stage to some stages that I'll be facing as a teenager. So I felt very bad sometimes when I came across all these changes in my body, from the development of the sexual organs up to this very moment I am now. Like, if not because of the way I've taken time to develop myself, I would have felt very bad. Like, going to pray, like, what has become over me, like just saying nasty things that doesn't necessarily mean I will. You know, there were sometimes I thought, talking about sex was also a sin, and so many nasty things just because I lack the sexual education. And that is why this channel is made for you, to bring all these things to you, to tell you that it is not a sin having attraction to the opposite sex. It is not a sin when you desire when you have the urge to have sex. These are just normal hormones. In fact, they are just normal hormonal changes and hormonal reactions in our body that transpire us to go into such as. But you have to caution yourself. Do it at the right time. One of my teachers in the church do tell us that if you are young and you have this Z and the urge to have sex, you should tap yourself that go back. You should tell yourself to go back to sleep, that you've woken up too early. I agree with that statement. Anytime you are on the age, you are not married yet, and you have this desire of having sex and sexing anybody, just tell yourself that you've woken up too early. Go back to sleep. And I would like to leave with that slogan. You have woken up too early. Go back to sleep. So at this stage, let me make more emphasis on some points that happen, some things that happen to us at this stage. This heterosexual stage lies between the age of 17 to 22 years of age. Yeah, 17 to 22 years of age. At this stage, your attention shifts to the opposite sex. Yes. And this is the peak of the teenage era. Here, your sexual curiosity and desire to attach yourself to the opposite sex, to have sex and become heightened, like it becomes at the peak. Like, sometimes you don't understand yourself, sometimes you just feel like, most especially ladies, when you ask them what's happening to them, they'll tell you that I don't just know, like, I don't understand myself, what's happening to me. That's why some people say the butterfly in their stomach is flying, like they're very uncomfortable. So when a lady gets wet at this time, she becomes very uncomfortable. Some desire for hugs, some desire for kiss, yes, some desire for several sexual advances, for romance, for touch, body touch, most especially for ladies, and stuff like that. So when you are not careful, then you end up falling into the hand of the wrong guy, and that is how, before time is taken, you lose your virginity, and that is how things go. So your sexual desire at this stage gets high, like it attains its peak. Let me say it reached the peak. But if you are careful enough to guide yourself and maintain your sexual purity life at this time, trust me, you will overcome for the rest of your life, and you will be something that you will always be proud of. So I will encourage us all to stay pure, because sexual purity pays. So let me move further. Some fall quickly into the promiscuous habit by experimenting with the use of their sexual organs. Like, things like masturbation. What is masturbation? It is massaging your sexual organ, your penis or your clitoris, for the female to attain sexual orgasm, or to reach your sexual self-satisfaction peak. To attain orgasm or reach the peak of your sexual satisfaction. That is what masturbation is all about. So some people go, guys, they go on masturbating, even the ladies too, and things like that happen common as this because when you are having the urge of having sex and there's nobody around you, then you tend to satisfy yourself by masturbating. And masturbating also has several things that are negative to our body, that it causes that are negative to our body. Things like well, don't let me go into that now, but things like masturbation can cause even infertility, and it has been proven over time that masturbation can also make you to be infertile. Yes, it can make the guys to have low sperm counts and things like that. So masturbation is not good for your body. It is best for you to wait for the right time to satisfy your sexual pleasure with the right person. So some fall quickly into the promiscuous habit by experimenting with the use of sexual organs. As one boy said, they begin to charge their batteries before they are ready for use. They begin to charge their batteries before they are ready for use. What? Let me tell you something that being sexual active before you get married is one of the worst things you could ever do to yourself. Yes, one of the worst things you could ever do to yourself. You know why? It will be very difficult for you to be faithful to one partner if you are sexually active before getting married. So at this stage, I will encourage you to stay faithful. If you are in a relationship at this stage, stay faithful. Don't engage in any sexual activity until you get married. If you have the Z to have sex, then tell your body you've woken up too early. Go back to bed. So, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel? If no, then I will encourage you all to smash the subscription button. Press on the notification button so as to get notified whenever I upload my next video. My next video is going to be very, very interesting. Should I reveal it to you? No, let me keep it a secret. Click on the subscription button and also the notification button so as to get notified as soon as it is up. Have you watched my previous videos? Trust me, they are very interesting. I am your favorite sex educationist by name Daniel Elisha Avak.